I think the last video stopped at about the point where I was first down. I was training pretty hard, or certainly up to first down anyway, and then so that I found myself travelling all around to go training. So Edinburgh one day, tried to get to Montrose, tried to get to Arbroath, and that's pretty much the point where I stopped, the video stopped. So where were we? Righty-ho. Travelling around the country, trying to get to classes as much as I could, but I had it built in me that I needed to try to forge a career of some sorts. And at the time I didn't realise perhaps how good martial arts would be. Anyway, so I'd already met Nikki by that time, and I was working in Edinburgh and she was working in, well, all around Tayside, that's Dundee, Fife, all around that area. And I was finding the huge journey to go training very difficult, and well, very difficult. It was more than 100 miles. It was an hour from Edinburgh to home, then another hour, 40 minutes maybe, and to get to Montrose, another 40 miles away. So it's a good 100 miles there and a 40 mile back, so 140 mile round trip, and to go training, which wasn't cool, but I did it for a little bit. And then my pretense of a career, no, and then too many people. And then I thought I'd try and make a career. So tried to climb the ladder at the IT firm I was at by improving my skills and trying to become a better IT professional. In reality, I was a teacher of some IT skills, so I was called an IT trainer, a facilitator of information, and that was draining because I was always inside, didn't see sunlight. And one day I was in Aberdeen, maybe next day Dundee, next day Edinburgh or Glasgow, or we might have to spend a week in Aberdeen and then a few days here and there the next week. Anyway, so I cut that down to being a contractor. So I was an IT contractor and only did the work that I wanted to, which meant that I had about 4 days a week, 4 working days a week, and then a day off where I was meant to be touting for other work from other employees, other employers. As it happened, I used that other day to get private clients. So I was working so hard on that I did it again. That I didn't get the opportunity to go to classes with a teacher as often as I would have liked. So I trained as much as I could at home. I trained as I could at home. Obviously it waned a little. I had a kick bag and I had the drive, but that didn't last as long as I'd hoped. So a few years went by, wilderness years if you like. Nikki and I found ourselves back down in London working. So, and Nikki pregnant, expecting our first child, and I decided I've got to try and get back into some form of proper training. So I went and bought a bicycle, get some fitness back, and once it had been born, I made the determined decision to get back to taekwondo training. During my uni, jumping back a little bit, during my uni time, summers, Christmases and Easter breaks, as a low level colour belt, so yellow belt and onwards, I made the effort to find out the highest ranking teacher in my local area, which was at that time Mr. Nardixi. You know him now as Grandmaster Nardixi. Grandmaster Nardixi. So he was a 5th degree when I went to see him and join his classes. Okay. I'm a 5th degree now. I would like to think that I am as good as he was, but to be honest, I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Anyway, he was amazing, and such good training as well. I learned so much, I listened so well, and I still use those lessons. I still use what I learnt then in my classes now. So then, jumping forwards, I knew that Mr. Nardixi had, I knew his highest graded student was closer to me than he was. So I searched him out, and that was Mr. Dennis. I think he was a 6th dan, maybe a 5th dan back then. And I started going to his classes Sundays and Thursdays. And that's where I met all the extreme crew. God, there's lots of people out. So interesting, we've all been told to keep our distance, and yet I've seen more people out today than I have ordinarily. Bearing in mind, today my group of friends who go riding chose to knock it on the head today and get a bit of exercise by yourself rather than being in a group. Probably would have been okay, I suppose. Oh god, more people are thinking I'm mad. Anyway, let's go. Right. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Nardixi. Okay, so team and Sundays and Thursdays. My bike is making a squeak. Anyway, I trained all the time. Thursdays, Sundays, got back into fitness, back into sparring. Was doing good, enjoyed it a lot. Graded to 2nd dan fairly quickly from there. Was already pretty much at that level when I left Scotland, but had to sort of get the skills back up after the break. So on that point of having a break, taekwondo will always be there. or your martial arts group will always be there. Despite what you might hear sometimes of, oh, X fell out with Y, or that federation's no good, that's all rubbish, in my opinion. Martial arts is always there for you. Find the right teacher, whatever art it is, and you'll have a good time. The right teacher for you. So for a lot of you guys who are obviously with me, obviously I'm the right teacher for you. The ones who left and went on somewhere else, then you found someone else to teach you. The ones who gave up, however, you got to question that. You have to question that. Negotiation. This isn't my normal sort of ride. It's a bit. Well, it's okay. It's good. It's good fun. It's good to be out. Yeah. Met all the extreme guys, trained hard, got second down. Then I really got my teeth into it. I kept saying to myself, I have a young daughter. I've got to be good at what I'm doing. Self-defense, physical exercise, strength and fitness for her, to teach her how to look after herself, keep herself strong and fit. Same when we had Ethan. Same thing drives me forwards. And if you listen to my 10-year speech, it was probably all spoken about in that. More people. Came out to be on my own. I like a bit of peace and quiet. God. Looks like I'm gonna have to go deeper into the hills next time. So let's see if this happens. Can I squeeze past?
Please.
Thank you. So, third day in grading was hard as hell. I remember that one vividly. Lots of people there watching, lots of people helping, giving me opponents. Two hardest gradings I had. Grading from red tag to red belt. I think I was one of two people grading. My instructor, Mr. Munten at the time, gave it to me with both barrels, you'd say. It was the hardest one. Until I had my third down grading. But I tell you what, that hard grading meant that everything that came after that, I felt as though I could cope with, no matter what it was. Work, physical, mental, I knew I could deal with it. Just had to remember how I coped with things back then. So yeah, so third down grading was hard. But I felt really pleased to have come out of that and with, you know, feeling good. Same with, well, in fact they're all hard. Yeah, shall I go left? There we go. So after third down grading, I decided, right, I am definitely going to start teaching. Set my own club up. I didn't want a club that was passed down or taken on someone else's. I wanted to say that I'd done it by myself for my own reasons. Edie had turned 4, or was just about to turn 4, and I thought that's the age that I'm going to start teaching. So I set up a club because she turned 4. And obviously the first night, I mean, I've done loads of advertising, but the first night, I think I had Edie's group of friends for tinies. I had one junior and a handful of adults. One of those adults was Josie. And that's 10.5 years ago, and Josie's still there. And she's very good. Just squeeze through, look at that, thank you. By the way, team, no one comes out riding their bikes. No one's. I've been doing this for, I don't know, 8 years or whatever. No one comes out. So everyone's been told to stay in, so everyone comes out in groups. Anyway, started third dan. Bearing in mind, between first, second and third dan, I'd also trained as a key wrap specialist, so that is a knives and edged weapons awareness teacher, teaching you about the awareness and dangers of knife crime and all that stuff. And as an IKFF kettlebell instructor, so that's a traditional hard kettlebell instructors program. I trained for a long time for that. I had a teacher called CJ Swaby for instruction, and I was certified on a weekend testing by a chap called Steve Cotter from America. That was a good fun weekend, hard as hell again, but I liked all that. Anyway, started the class and it was good. Should I go down there? Yeah. And it was good. Enjoyed it. We progressed from 1 night, 2 nights, and now we're on 3 nights. And in that time, well, we were on 3 nights until bad stuff happened. So I'll go left and 3 nights. That's good. I had a load of people come and train, and the hardcore, the group that's there now, you're the ones that keep it going, that make it worthwhile. The whole point of this conversation, though, is to give you some inspiration about training and to help you understand that I trained all the time, and that you should also think about perhaps training more than you do, or not just in class. Perhaps I should I say train at home in your own time, which is what's leading us on. It's what we're being forced into with this COVID thing. So 4th dan, club's going well. We've got a few black belts in the room. We've got 11 now, I think. Everyone's done brilliantly for themselves and excelled at becoming a black belt in their own way. So some are better at some things, some are better than others. You know, it's rare to get the full package. You know, various instructors will also tell you they have their preferred parts of the art compared to others. So much of the 7 years that I spent between 4th dan and 5th dan was building the club, building the students, making them as good as I thought I could. We're going to go down something called track 40, which may well be rammed with kids. Yeah, a handful, that's all right. We'll just see how we go. Couple there. Having a bit of fun while we talk about Taekwondo Club. So 7 years, 4th dan to 5th dan. Anyway, about 18 months ago, Steve Elliott said, he's also a 4th dan, but, you know, a professional fighter, told me that we had to do 5th dan together. I said, no, can't do it, not fit enough. He said, you have to. Oh, I said, okay. And sometimes you need that push. You need someone to tell you that you've got to do something. They know you can do it, and you've got to push yourself. And that's what he did. All he had to do was tell me to do it. I said no, he said you have to. I said okay. Now, don't confuse that with peer pressure and doing stupid things, but having positive goals is the way forward. And you can keep those positive goals going even though we're in pretty strange times. There we go, stroke 40. There we go. So, heading back up to Banstead, I think. Anyway, sometimes you need that push. So the times where I say to you in class, come on, you got this, you can do this, might come across as perhaps harsh, but I wouldn't say it to you if I didn't think you were capable of achieving it. So many things, perhaps school and work, maybe are geared at protecting you from experiencing upset, failure, hard work. I get to provide you with. So sometimes you might experience a hard time, but I'm giving that to you because I think it's a good thing for your progression, whether as a person or just in the art or in your own training. I wouldn't do it if you weren't ready for that yet. So yeah, 15 came around, I gave myself a year of build up and then 6 months of proper hard graft, and the classes were perhaps a bit focused on me at the time, but we had help from the 11 black belts to kind of get everyone else through as well. So that was pretty cool because me and Rod passed the second dan. Rod passed the second dan that day. I passed the fifth dan with pretty good patterns. Perhaps I could have been a bit more flexible, a bit better in my legs at the time. My sparring was good. Remember, the sparring tested isn't competition sparring. It's sparring, but not for points. So the techniques used are more varied and more akin to your training than just what's allowed in competition sparring to get points. So my sparring was good, but I was most pleased with my practical use of taekwondo, my self-defense, and my power was pretty good, which I'm pleased at. So that was just last year, getting fifth dan. Between fourth and fifth, which was 7 years, I do it. So between fourth and fifth, which was 7 years, I explored Silat with Alvin from SBL. So Google up SBL Silat and you'll find him. I did that because Chris, who you remember me talking about in part 1, Chris and Alpha had another friend who was highly skilled in Silat and told them to explore it. Chris has done it for about 15 years now, and I did it for about 5 or 6 years, and then had some work issues, and couldn't really afford the time, as well as running my taekwondo class. So I put my taekwondo class above, at that time, my taekwondo class rated more important to me than progressing my skills. So hopefully you guys all benefited from that. I still train in Silat for myself. It's an art that which you can do that, and obviously we explore some of that in our own sessions with the grown-ups, and it's something that I will get back to in good time. Perhaps now is a good time. Let's go down here. So yeah, I went to those classes. Well, there were sessions. You had to be invited, so someone in the know had to know you and your skill level and your ability to learn things. Then you had to go for a trial, and then you had to be accepted. So it wasn't a case of, well, okay, I'm sure some people think like this, but it certainly wasn't a case of, I want to come and train Silat, here's the money, now teach me. I paid you money, you must teach me. It's not like that at all. I had to be accepted. I had to show that I was worthy of learning this man's art, which I was, obviously. I was allowed to take part, and it was wicked. So we had to attend 4 instructor sessions a year. Doesn't sound like much, but that's 8 hours of training in one go. So you do 8 hours, and then you go away, he gives you homework. Then you go away, you do your homework, then you come back, you have another 8 hours in one slog, which is hard going. So I did that for a few years and got qualified in phase 1 of SBL Silat, which is their groundwork. Let's go down here, see what we can find, if anything at all. What we got? Yeah, let's go down this one. Nothing. That's okay. So yeah, qualified in phase 1 of Silat, and that's some of the stuff that we explore in the grown-ups taekwondo lessons as well. And certainly some of that stuff I used to get through the stuff at 5th Dan, the practical taekwondo. So that's pretty much where we are now. Other than right now, we have no classes to attend in person. But all of that conversation was about telling you that it doesn't come easily. It's not just happened. I don't just happen to find myself 46 years old being a 5th Dan in the taekwondo phase 1 in Silat, or anything else, but it hasn't just magically happened. It's happened through 25 years of hard work. So that's the way it is. And you guys progress further than you are, then you need to, then you need to also put that work in. So it won't come easily. You might find yourself now as a yellow belt, green belt, whatever, first Dan, maybe. But you certainly won't reach your peak if you give up now. So what you need to do, or what you could do, if you wanted to progress, was continue training, even though our classes are stopped. Which brings me on to the live sessions that we're going to do, and following perhaps the daily workouts that we're going to put up. The online theory, all that stuff is available to you. So please stay with it. Don't give up your training. It's not for me, it's for you. Don't you give it up for you. You've got to stay with it. Look at that. So keep your eye on our WhatsApp group. Keep your eye on Facebook page. Keep your eye on the website and find out what's going on and when it's going on. And stay with it. That'll do for now. We'll finish off this one with you, and then I'll stop talking. Also, taekwondo doesn't have to be the only thing you do. You've got to give yourself a chance to be an active person, physically and mentally. Maybe focus on one thing at a time, but give yourself the chance to experience different things. So one of the reasons why I like mountain biking, technical mountain biking, is that it poses a similar challenge to me as taekwondo did. Technical taekwondo does. There we go. Stay with me. Stay on the, get in touch with the live sessions. Over and out.